Okay, happily the weather is extending this idea of we're all in this together, because I'm going to show you 4 different camera views right now, and the sky's going to look identical in all of them. From the far east side of the Bay Area, this is the camera over the Tri-Valley looking east out over towards Dublin and beyond. These clouds have extended well inland. It's a ceiling of gray all the way there inland for the Tri-Valley. And then if we switch and come back over towards the coast, it's the same exact view over the Golden Gate Bridge. We can do this down in San Jose. Same view for you. And from our camera that sits on Treasure Island looking back up towards the city skyline, while it's still gray here, we kind of have a really good measuring stick there with the Salesforce Tower. Yesterday, these clouds were low enough they were obscuring the top of it. Today, that's not the case. And that is one way you can really determine the intensity of these clouds in the marine layer. If they're higher up, they're typically going to be able to at least burn off a little bit quicker than if you've got that really thick blanket that's almost down to the ground. So, less in the way of gray today, even though it's gray everywhere now, and it'll stay that way for the next several hours. We'll burn these clouds off earlier today than we did yesterday because there's just not as much of it, and we're going to pick up a little bit of an offshore flow today. Watch what happens to these clouds on the FUTURECAST. You can see they kind of get blown out of here by the time we get into the afternoon. So expect to see more clear skies and blue skies, certainly by the time we get past about noon today. And then tomorrow morning, we'll pull the clouds back in for the bay, but it shouldn't be too widespread tomorrow. So if that covers the clouds and the sky aspect of this, let's talk about how it's going to feel today. It'll be warmer because of all that. On average, anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees above where we were yesterday. That puts us at 68 in Mountain View today. Redwood City, you're going to 68. San Mateo's going to hit 67. We'll go to 70 in Concord, Livermore. San Jose is going to hit that same number. I just showed that to you on the last page. Pleasanton goes to 69. Walnut Creek, you'll hit 70. We'll go to the low to mid 60s if you're right in and around the immediate bay, but then watch how things warm up the farther inland you go. And if this is a 3 to 5 degree warm up today, we're just getting started. Let's use a couple examples. Concord, it was 64 yesterday. Got you going to 70 today, but it's going to be 79 by Tuesday. So once we get into the early part of this week, the warm up's going to go into the next gear. A couple of other examples here. Let's do this for San Jose. Going to 78 on Tuesday. Now you'll notice a difference as we go into the bay a little bit more. For Oakland, where we're going to go to 73. And even though that's not, going up to 79, the average high for this time of year is 66. So we're doing that pretty much today, and then you're going to jump back up into the low and mid 70s by the time we get to Tuesday. And just to show you the other extreme example of still a warm up, but not nearly as high as the inland spots. San Francisco will go to 70 by the time we get to Tuesday. Plenty of sunshine goes along with that 70. Whether you're at the bay or at the coast, look at that midsection of the 7-day. We're all going to get into that pattern where it's going to be beautiful blue sky. It won't even be too windy, so you'll be able to get outside as long as you're doing it responsibly and not worry about the wind blowing around all that added pollen that's in the air, because pollen levels are reading high for all of the usual suspects right now. So good news in this forecast. And even though we're starting out our Easter Sunday pretty gray, you will get more blue sky today than you did yesterday. Just hang on till about noon.
Now, you mentioned yesterday that maybe towards next week we might see a little bit of rain or a chance.
And that long-range forecast, it looks a little less likely now. It's still there as a possibility, but the models are going back and forth on that one, so it's nothing to really pin too many hopes on at this point yet.